Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. This past Sunday, the 49ers lost their first game of the season versus the Browns in what turned out to be a tough, gritty game with points being hard to come by for both teams. Mistakes and missed opportunities was the tale of the tape as the 49ers failed to capitalize early in the game. What could have been a team en route to a rout turned into a team scratching and clawing to put themselves in a position to win. In a game against a defense like Cleveland has, you don't want to let it come down to the end, because as we saw, anything can happen. Failures on the offensive side of the ball and penalties allowed Cleveland to stay balanced on offense, with PJ Walker having 34 attempts and the Browns also having 34 rushing attempts. In the end, the team was in a position for a 41-yard game-winning field goal but failed to get out the win, being sent home empty-handed. I'm sure they're wishing they could arrive home with a win at their door. Like you can if you visit whiteoakpastures.com/JD49 to check out some of their amazing food products. I'm not just an affiliate of White Oak Pastures, I'm also a customer. Sunday I made one of their chuck roasts, and the honest truth is that was the best roast I've ever had in my life. White Oak Pastures offers 100% pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished beef with no hormones or antibiotics or animal alteration of any kind. They also offer grass-fed, pasture-raised lamb, pasture-raised and forage-fed pork, and poultry. Their products are 100% processed at the farm, vacuum-sealed, frozen, and sent to you in a cooler packed with dry ice via 2-day shipping. Completely grass-fed and pasture-raised livestock provide so many health benefits. In the United States, we spend a ton of money on healthcare for diet-related illnesses. Isn't it time we started investing more in our food than our treatments? You'll feel better, be healthier, and enjoy some amazing food. Check out whiteoakpastures.com/JD49 and use coupon code JD49 to get $20 off your first order of $150 or more. Good for the animal, good for the environment, good for you. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. Outside of the first drive, the team really struggled getting anything going consistently on offense in a game that was littered with mistakes. So today we're going to spend the majority of the breakdown covering the missed opportunities. This felt like a game that had to go exactly the way it did for the Browns to win, but only a few things had to go differently for the 49ers to walk out with a blowout win. But to start out, we'll talk about how Fred Warner caused the first turnover of the game. Steve Wilkes has taken some criticism from fans, but I love the call here. Pre-snap, we're showing two safeties in a Tampa 2 look. The Browns are running a clearing route down the middle, and then a spacing concept. The idea against cover 2 is the clearing route will clear out the Mike, Fred Warner, who has to match down the middle of the field, and then have a horizontal stretch. The quarterback would then work inside to out. At the snap though, we're rotating into cover 6. This means Fred Warner is not going to match a vertical. Walker doesn't identify the post-snap shift to the defense. He was locked into believing Fred Warner was going to get cleared out and then will try and hit the curl over the middle. But Fred is sitting on it and jumps the route for the pick. Back on offense, we'll see the bumps in the road start. So some of what happened was good play by Cleveland's defense. We're trying to run a screen here, and we first motion McLeod back and forth. With no one traveling, this reveals zone coverage. Jim Schwartz is playing a matching cover 3 here, where you'll have man coverage on a uke and the zone defenders matching and transitioning to man. We're trying to clear out one side and then hit McCaffrey on a screen. But watch how well the Browns secondary matches the routes, as the backside player is going to pick up George Kittle on his crossing route, and the linebackers never have to take their eyes off McCaffrey, read the screen, and beat the O-lineman to the play for a loss. Credit Cleveland on one play, but then we follow it up with a false start by George Kittle. So now it was 1st and 10 at the 26, and it's now 2nd and 23 at the 39. Even after an incompletion then on 3rd and 23, we miss a big opportunity for either a touchdown or a first down with Debo. So we're running an end trap. You'll pull the guard to kick out the end man, and Trent and Kittle will lead up. This is just poor execution. Kittle and Williams get confused on who's got Delpit. If we pick this guy up, Debo has an angle to get to the edge where McCaffrey can pick up the outside corner, and Debo is in a foot race either inside or outside, and very well could be gone. But no one touches Delpit, and he's able to slow up Debo just enough where the rest of the team can rally. It's a huge missed opportunity in the game. Instead, we miss a 52-yard field goal. Then, the next drive is 3rd and 3, and we get a good conversion to George Kittle. Yay! But it's called back by illegal hands to the face. So then on 3rd and 13, you have another missed opportunity. The Browns are showing cover 0 pre-snap. They want to bait Purdy into a quick throw underneath. They're actually going to man up on Jennings, who's 3rd and Juwan by the way, and then play a 2 deep, 3 underneath zone blitz. We're running a play we hit Brandon Ayuk on against the Cardinals, and I know it is Yankee sit, Kyle calls it heat. It's a Yankee concept that would have a post route paired with a high crosser, but here the high crosser will sit over the middle. With no middle safety, the post route was open. Ayuk does a good job adjusting to the throw more down the middle. I'm sure Purdy would like to lead him a little more inside, but Ayuk got his hands on it and should have caught it. While those things are there, there's also protection issues. We're going to keep McCaffrey and Kittle on a chip and release. That means you have 4 guys working on the outside rushers and then 3 guys working on the inside. Cleveland comes with a stunt here with 99 working around. As an offensive line, you can't let this happen. You can't have a 3-on-3 blocking and allow 2 guys through. You give Purdy a clean pocket there and this ball is right on target and Ayuk is probably going in for a touchdown. So with that, it's a 7-point game in what could be a 21-0 game. Then on the next drive, we're moving. We've had a number of chunk plays and it's 2nd and 4 inside the 10-yard line. We're running a split zone. One, Cleveland gets away with a defensive hold here. So this does work with zone blocking rules and it works inside out. With the hold on Banks, we're not able to get up onto the linebacker. If we pick up either linebacker or number 26, this is most likely a first down inside the 5 for a potential touchdown. Instead, now it's 3rd and 6, and the Browns have a tough defense and play our choice clear really well. It's 10-0 at this point, but you're seeing how each and every drive the opportunities were there. Real quick, I want to say a huge thank you to our Patreon members. These videos are brought to you by our Patreon community. Consider joining them if you can. So now back on offense, it's 10-7. This game should be a big lead by San Francisco, but it's a 3-point game and just sloppy play. We're trying to run a double fake here. You fake the jet sweep, fake a rollout, and then hit a throwback screen to McLeod. We've hit these before for some big gains. Let me preface, I love Trent Williams, and I know his ankle was hurt at this point, but this is just some of the details. Trent is looking to sell a jet sweep. If your guy wins inside, the rollout motion looks to pull him out, so if your guy goes inside, you let him go. Instead, Trent just kind of wanders, gets in McLeod's way, and then in the way of the throw. I just don't know what Trent is doing this far in the backfield. This is set up for a huge play. You've got 5 blockers on 2 defenders. You're talking possible touchdown, at least a huge chunk play. Also, how does Aaron Banks allow a guy through here? This is the kind of stuff that will drive a coach nuts. You drop a play that gets you this kind of advantage that by all means should be a huge explosive, and you get nothing. That's missing the details. Then again, it's about the details. We've gotten a couple first downs after the missed screen, and we get a negative play. We're running a counter zone here. You make this look like your wide zone, then work it back. We actually ran this play the first play of the game against the Browns back in 2019 for a 73-yard touchdown with Matt Breida. But again, details. Aaron Banks is supposed to take one step down the line to sell the wide zone, let his man win inside, then wall him down. Instead, he just widens his step and his man works inside. But he hasn't moved down the line and loses badly. His guy blows his whole play up for what could have been another big gain. He gets in and gets away with a face mask as he grabs McLeod, but we have each man in the run game accounted for. At minimum, this should be a 4 or 5 yard run. Really, this should be a whole lot more. So now on 2nd and 14, you get a big miss that should have been a touchdown. We're running a basic concept here, which is a basic route paired with a wheel route. The Browns are in cover 1 lurk, so you have Christian McCaffrey matched up on a linebacker who thinks he's running a choice route. But instead, you get McCaffrey wide freaking open for what should have been a touchdown, and Purdy misses the throw. This is such a big deal because then later in the drive on 2nd and 10, we get a delay of game penalty when Ray McLeod confuses the pre-snap motion. So then on 3rd and 15, we try and run a tunnel screen and Brock loses the ball in the wet weather. Again, another drive that you had a play there open for a touchdown. You're leaving points on the board. It's 10-7, but this game should be wide open by this point. You keep making these kind of mistakes and you let a physical, feisty team stay in it, you give up your right to win. Then coming out of the half, it's more mistakes, this time by Purdy. So we're running one of our staple plays. It's a speedo concept where we'll have a clearing route paired with a deep over route. I actually don't have a problem with a throw by Purdy. One thing he's generally been really good at is looking off these middle lurk players. I'd like to see him look to Kittle on the short route and hold the lurk defender underneath so he doesn't have to make such a tight window layered throw to Ayuk. The play is there. You got Ayuk for a big gain and it's a nice throw. Look the guy off. Make your window wider. These mistakes then add up. On 3rd and long, we throw a pick that turns into points the other way. This is a drive plus double dig concept against cover 1 lurk, and Ayuk wins. Some have said that the wet ball affected Purdy here, but I noticed something when watching this play from the end zone, and I reached out to the man, NFL quarterback coach Greg Pinelli, who you should definitely be following on Twitter, but Purdy's front foot is really closed off, meaning it's pointed to the right of the target. That front foot needs to be pointed to the target. Being closed off will cause a quarterback to pull the ball to their left for a right-handed quarterback. It was a footwork issue here for Purdy, not a wet ball issue, but something that Purdy definitely needs to straighten out. In these conditions against a good defense, you're now seeing the cost of these mistakes adding up. A game where you'd be looking to run the ball, bleed the clock, and force PJ Walker, who did not play well in this game, to win it with his arm, you're now allowing them to stay with the run, force you to put the ball in the air, and put them in scoring position. In this next play, I'm going to say it's on Purdy as well. So the Browns are showing a 5-man front. We're going spread and they're going to try and run a play action fake and a double drift concept. But your line is sliding to fake the run away from the end man. To me, this play needed to be canned and go with something else. You have no way to account for the unblocked man and your hot is juice. Then McCaffrey comes back in to try and tough it out in the game. He gets a decent gain, but we have a holding call on Trent. Then you follow it up with a false start. You cannot have these kinds of things happen and expect to win the game. We try and hit a tight end screen and the Browns sniff it out and hold up Kittle the whole way. So now you're in 2nd and 25 against this pass rush. This is why you can't waste those opportunities early in the game. Then on the next drive, after we had 2 more sloppy missed opportunities, I'm just running out of time to show all this stuff, we miss a big throw to Ayuk on 3rd down. We have Ayuk running a blaze out, which will run like a deep in route and then break out. And Purdy misses him here. It's also not great protection. Burford has to know there will be stunts coming. That means be prepared to hand guys off and pick other guys up. Instead, he's all in on his guy and lets a guy through who's able to pressure Purdy into a bad throw. Cutting back to the defense for a second, this is the pick by Lenore. Walker is trying to go after a one-on-one matchup of Cooper on Lenore. But 1, Lenore is in great position. 2, Javon Kinlaw bull rushed the guard and was able to get in and get a finger on it. You can see him motioning for the tip pass before he even knew it was picked. Then you'll see a touchdown just as you draw it up. Here, Trent does a phenomenal job on Myles Garrett, and you see the blocks executed to perfection. These kinds of plays were there to be had in the game. You have to execute consistently. So coming out again, you're going to see mistakes pop up. The team is up by 1 point, less than 3.5 minutes to go. The Browns are showing the same 5-man front they did when they got an unblocked man off the edge earlier. Kyle Shanahan said Jordan Mason was supposed to stay in the block, which means this is jet protection. The way the jet protection works is the slide will work to the widest man on the line, in this case, Myles Garrett. This is one reason you see Kyle trust a guy like Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey more. Jordan Mason has to recognize that. The line is going to slide to his side. That means he has to pick up the backside guy who's the 5th man off the edge if he comes on a rush. Instead, he reads the edge to his side, thinks it's covered, and releases to the pattern. Because of the pressure, Purdy is flushed out, but we had Ayuk wide open on the play. Purdy gets flagged for intentional grounding as the ball never gets back to the line of scrimmage. From there, you end up with this pass rush being able to tee off. As you saw, the game was about missed opportunities and mistakes in the first half, and then constantly failing to stay on schedule in the second half. There was a lot more to show in this game, especially of the defense who played well for the most part, but there was a ton of plays in this game. After all the penalties, there was around 160 to 170 plays, so there's only so many I can show. And with a rough loss, my focus is going to turn to the Vikings. And so if there's a second video this week, it will be a preview video for the big Monday night matchup versus Kirk Cousins. But make sure to have the notifications button turned on to be alerted to when a video goes live and to catch every episode of the JFA podcast every morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time after the game. So next week it will be at 7 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.